one day and it's completely different. Well, we're live on YouTube and on Facebook. So bear with me while I double check that this isn't lying to me. Okay. Almost done here. Excellent. So we are going to go ahead and get kicked off because I see us live on all of our channels, and I'm done now sharing. Hopefully Facebook is alerting you guys that you should be tuning in. I already see our past board chair, Brian Head. Thank you for hopping on here with us. Well, thank God it is Friday. I don't know about you, but I woke up today in a hot mess with my fire alarms going off and not locating a lot of mail packages. So this is going to be the positive to my morning, and then the rest is just going to follow suit. Thank you for tuning in to our live broadcast. As you guys are aware, these are videos we bring to you as resources, things that are going on in the community where we feature elected officials, and then all the way to our nonprofit corners and business success stories so that you're aware of who is around during this time, what they're doing, how COVID has affected them, and more importantly, how you can support them. We generally end Friday with updates. These updates have been in the form of city, county, state, or federal updates, administrative or with partners. And then every now and then I like peppering in Fact Friday videos. You all are aware we used to do these relatively frequently last year on a monthly basis with updates on what's going on in the chamber, et cetera. So we like to loop them in when there's news and information that you should be mindful of. Now today, I'm not doing this alone. I actually have with me one of my good friends and also a great colleague, which is our board chair, Brian Dice. Before I introduce him and the topic that we have, I want you to like the page and also follow it if you have not done so already. Also note that at the same time that we're streaming this on our Facebook page, it is live on YouTube, Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And of course, we're on Twitter and Instagram at Westy Chamber, where we post other types of material and information for you at your fingertips. All the videos are available to you here in the video section of our Facebook page. You can also find it on the YouTube channel and as well on the resource tab, which is the Westminster Chamber COVID-19 updates page, available for you on our chamber website. Now, you've seen me pull up a couple of comments and pepper them through. Hopefully you have a profile picture that you're proud of so I can display it for you. Good morning to Brian. Thank you for hopping on here. The comment section is available to you to engage with us. This is a lively broadcast. I always like to say it's relatively informal, even though I have something planned out for you. What that means is during the conversation, if you find any of the information valuable, not only should you share the video, but you can also comment that our way. We like to hear those comments that are great. We also like to hear what questions you might have that come to mind so we can try and address those as best as we can. So again, once we get started, you'll have the comment feature available to you to share with us what your thoughts and feelings are. Now, today's topic is chamber updates. It's also board updates as well. And so who better than to have our board chairman, Brian Dice. Brian is with Your Castle Real Estate or Westminster Real Estate Info. You've seen him engaged in the community and taking on several projects and initiatives. But he's here to share with us a little bit more about the board role and the scope of that and what that looks like. We'll take up some questions and then we'll digest into some more of our upcoming programs and activities through the chamber. Again, I like this to be engaging, so be sure that you engage with us by commenting and asking questions along the way. Brian, I will mute myself. It is yours to take away.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for letting me come on here. I know you don't necessarily like to have me in these talking roles a lot because you never know what's going to come out, right? So thanks for trusting me to actually share something. No, appreciate the opportunity. I think Juliet may have mentioned already in that long, I don't know how you remember all the things that you have to say for your introduction. You do a really good job with that. But we do, that's right. We are about to open up applications for board nominations, and we have room for more board members. If we can find the right kind of people, and we know you're out there. So I've been involved with this organization since the beginning. And so I always kind of joke with people that the bar was a lot lower when I got involved. I literally went to a meeting. There were about, I don't know, 100, 150 people in this room. And we were talking about starting a new Westminster Chamber of Commerce. And I put my name, they wanted to know what roles are you interested in, put my name as a board member. And that's how low the bar was. I was on the board from the beginning. So fortunately for Juliet, we've put a few more filters in. We look for a little bit higher quality person now. And so we've got some great board members. And we had great board members from the beginning. We always have had, that's one of the things I think I've enjoyed the most about being involved with this organization is the relationships with the people that I've met through this. The people I've had an opportunity to get to know, develop friendships, and really learn a lot from these folks. So we are looking for a few more good board members now. Obviously, people who are, who are experienced in business, hopefully having some success with what they're doing, and they have something that they can bring to the table to help us make the best kind of decisions that we can make in trying to direct this organization. So it's been a fun ride. First 2 years, we were an all volunteer organization. So we have been very much a working board from the beginning. Juliet has taken, fortunately, a lot of that load off of our shoulders because, board members were doing quite a bit of the work back then. And we still are a working board. We still are looking for people who are committed to the organization, committed to the mission and what we're trying to accomplish for the community, for the business community, and people that are willing to roll up their sleeves and do a little bit of the hard work, as well as, of course, attending our board meetings and other meetings that we have, and coming to as many of our events as we can. We don't expect board members to. Most of them have a lot of other things going on in addition to either their own business or high-level role in a company they work for. But we like to see them as visible as possible. I think members and people like to see that the board is there, and we can interact, and if they have questions or things they want to bring to our attention or that kind of thing. So at our after-hours events, which we unfortunately haven't been able to have as many of. This year has been a lot different with COVID. It was fun to have a ribbon cutting again, finally yesterday in person, and be able to kind of get out there and mix it up a little bit. But those kind of events, we love to see our board members come to as much as they can as well. What else do you want me to share, Juliet? What would you like to have?
We've got several people that are hopped on here. So I just want to give some quick shout outs and pull up a couple of comments, and then I will pull apart some of the things that you have already shared, if that's okay with you, Brian. I see State Representative Tracy Krupp-Tharp. Good morning to you. Thank you for hopping on here. And also thank you for replaying a lot of our videos whenever you're unable to be here in person. We sure do appreciate it. Appreciate you being involved and engaged with our organization. We have a comment that comes to us from Brian Head, of course, sharing that you are the heart and soul of the chamber. We like to refer to Brian as the teddy bear in the chamber, and that speaks to just kind of the love and care and comfort that he provides to really anybody that's involved and engaged within our organization, creating that inclusive, dynamic organization that we are. And it looks like we also have Vanessa DeMont, who's hopped on here with us. She's enjoying these virtual meetings and has already been engaged on 2 of the chamber events within one morning. So appreciate you engaging with us as well, Vanessa. I also see Chris Pacey. Chris, I saw your comment and now I don't see it anymore, but good morning to you. I also see Rolla that's on here tuning in. Appreciate you guys for hopping on. We have with us Brian Dice. Brian is sharing information about all things board. He mentioned very earlier on that we do have opportunities for additional board members to come on our board. If the right candidates are out there, that will be opening at the end of this month, and that the role of the board has historically been involved, engaging. It's changed a little bit now that obviously we have myself and other help and support from the staff side, but there's still a level and element of making sure that they are in sync and have the correct pulse. And I think that's one of the things that I just wanted to pick back up, Brian. You made sure to emphasize that, and that's, our chamber was selected as one of 10 nationwide for diversity and inclusion. A portion of that did discuss that our board is heavily involved in things. Now, they're not heavily involved with micromanaging. You're heavily involved with things that are of interest to you. So, for example, and I'll just kind of quickly throw it at you, and I know them already, but what are some of the groups that you have attended, kind of through your lens as a realtor? And I know you've gone to a variety of different initiatives in the community and a couple of different events, and represented the chamber, but you were using the lens of your professional side.
Yeah, so there have been a few groups, and to be honest with you, Juliet, you know me and my recollection. I won't remember the names of all of those groups, but there have been some groups that Juliet has all of the board members, or a lot of the board members, attend if it's kind of fits in their role in the world or in business, if you will. And so there's one in particular that I wish I could remember the name of. Sorry, I don't. But it was a group. It was a group that was meeting, and they were having some conversations leading up to some kind of legislative agendas, you might say. And so, we attended some of those meetings to kind of see is this something that we want to be involved in? Is this something that chamber wants to have some input in? And there are some times when we find it to be something that is very fitting for our role as a chamber and what we want to accomplish and see happen for our business community. And other times it's not a good fit for us.
Absolutely. So a lot of community working groups that we're generally engaged in, involved in, having that pulse in the community. Brian referenced, I believe you're discussing the the compact that brought business and various entities together. I know you've been a part of different housing type of studies that were out there, or various events that relate to the housing needs in our community, what that looks like, and you've been able to use your perspective and lens as a realtor. But we've had others, right? We have our sustainability board member, Mark, that is heavily plugged into all things sustainability, whether it's studies, working groups, or projects that come up, and Excel Energies, the Partners in Energy, where Brian Head actually was engaged in that. So really, we go back to what your skill set is, and then you're engaged in that specific working group. And it makes sense, right? Because as much as I know and claim to know, I don't know everything. And I have to surround myself by you all, because you're the experts that know the details and the minutiae of that. So to that end, Brian, you talked a little on legislative components. We talked about getting involved, attending board meetings, and attending select events and programs, just to kind of have that face and appearance out in the community. We also discussed, how earlier on it was kind of here's how you came onto the board. Now that's not really the process, right? So there is more of a formalized structure. And if someone's interested in getting involved on the board, what would that look like?
Yeah, so there's an application process. In some cases, there might be a person, a member of ours, or even a board member who recognizes something in an individual they feel like would be good qualities for that person to be on the board, and then they can nominate them. In other cases, there might be an individual who feels like this would be a good fit for them. They like to have that input. They're willing to make that commitment, and then they can go on and fill out the application, which I believe you provide online on the chamber website.
Absolutely, we do. And I see with us Jeff Wasden. I also see Counselor DeMont. Thank you for hopping on here. Good morning to you as well. We appreciate these notes. Please be sure that you engage with us with some of those good morning messages or questions that come to mind. And Brian, you're absolutely right. You nailed that by sharing. It's an application process that opens up, but it really is, they're elected by members for our membership, right? So these are folks that are identified in the community as having a select skill set, as having a passion that would be able to contribute to something larger than themselves. And then there's that vetting process, right? So there is a nomination committee that takes a second to review everything and go back and make sure that they are bringing forward the best candidates that are out there. So with that, and I'll throw you kind of a curveball. I told you that almost anything I throw you will be fine, but I do have a curveball for you, and that's COVID, right? So COVID came and it changed things up for a whole lot of people. And with our board, it's a little bit different. You and I have worked differently together as a result of it because of COVID. No complaints, but I want people to understand with this dynamic, with this situation, was the board completely unengaged? What was the board's role in this? If you can give them a nice preface of that.
So I'm glad to hear you say no complaints. And I'm also glad that we're videotaping this, so I have proof that you actually admitted that. Yeah, definitely the dynamics have changed a lot this year, as they have for most businesses, most organizations. I mean, anybody living on the planet, I think this has touched, right? So for us, along with what we saw happening, with a lot of our business members and just businesses in the community, a chamber is that organization that should be making a difference for those people, right? So we had a lot of discussions early on. I think you and I were talking at least daily when things first hit. Didn't have to be long conversations, but literally things were changing on a daily basis, and everybody's trying to figure out, what are the rules? How does this impact me? What are the resources that we can find and help the businesses in the community be able to figure out, what do we need to do? Where are the resources? How do we interpret what they're now telling us that we need to do? So there was a lot of activity and a lot of, anybody goes on our website and looks to see that COVID-19 and everything you've built into that, that's an incredible resource. And it was something that was built over time, right? But obviously, we also engage with our board members because there's decisions to be made. Our organization, along with any other organization impacted by this, we had to make some decisions to make sure that we were doing the right thing for our organization, for our members going forward. How are we going to help members if they're struggling a little bit with their dues right now, as well as what do we want this to look like from the standpoint of what the chamber is providing, what's appropriate, what's not, right? So we need that input from our leaders, because everybody brings a little bit something different, I think, to the table.
Oh, they absolutely do. And I know you said you'll hold me on record for that. I said with COVID, right? So hopefully we won't have some substantial situation like this again. Yeah. But, the board was and still continues to be a pivotal role in our way of addressing COVID. From these live broadcasts where we were able to rely on board, their expertise to shape the discussion on them, all the way to those business calls that we kicked off. We were the first to do those in our community, to call in a variety of businesses in our community that are not just chamber members, outreach calls that we conducted, surveys that we held. Board was making sure that they were not just overseeing and directing and governing. They were, boots on the ground and there to be sure that everyone was taken care of and everyone's voice was actively heard during this time. And that's not stopped. That's not stopped till today. And, as we continue to bring on newer things or efforts as a result of COVID that we're doing and continue to be active, board is making sure that they're getting that message out to their channels, even if you're unable to be present you yourself. So as I'm pulling this comment up, because I feel like Brian Head's trolling you this morning with some good love, what are, as it relates to board terms, right? Because board members are elected, but you're not elected indefinitely, right? You're not there for forever. It might seem like that with you because you were with us. But overall, board members have a specific number of years that they're serving, and then the option to continue forward if they are reelected by the nominations committee. Now, while you're thinking that through, I just want to read this quickly, and that's Brian is sharing how proud he is of our team that's here, both the board and staff, that we've risen to the occasion during this pandemic. Appreciate that, Brian. I know the work that we're doing is not for flattery. It's to make sure that we are supporting the businesses because we are here as a result of them, and making sure that we're building a better business community. But it is always nice, and I love compliments. You know, I like them and think they're like water. I can always use more. Brian, do you want to answer that question as it relates to board terms?
Yeah, absolutely. So typically we have a 3-year term, and then if elected again, and if the person wants to go forward after 3 years, hopefully they do, then there's a potential 2 3-year back-to-back terms. So the reason that we're joking about me still being here is if I was not the chairman of the board this year, I'd be termed out because I completed my second of 2 3-year terms last year. As the chairman of the board, since I was elected for chair-elect last year, they're kind of stuck with me for a couple more years. So next year will be my past chair position on the board, and then they can kick me to the curb finally, right? Get this guy.
No, all joking aside, you know, I love the continuity and the energy that you bring to our board, Brian. And anyone that meets you knows that you generally care for the people and for the constituency that we have built into our organization. So I think that's amazing. If anyone has any questions about board, about how do we get involved within our organization, the natural progression into the leadership role, etc., you can feel free to comment it into this section of the broadcast. If you don't feel comfortable doing it in front of others, totally okay. DM our page here on Facebook or email us at info@westminsterchamber.biz. We're happy to connect you with a current board member, a past board member, get those questions answered for you, and see where makes the most sense for you to leverage your expertise within our organization and moving the needle here in Westminster and our surrounding area. That being said, I promised you guys that we're going to touch on also upcoming programs and events. Brian gave that spoiler about yesterday, us having a ribbon cutting that was more traditional. Now you'll see this on our events calendar where we have ribbon cutting, parentheses, traditional. The reason that we're doing that is there are 2 types of ribbon cuttings we're now offering. One is the regular one, in person. Obviously, we're doing that socially distant. We're requiring RSVPs in advance. People are coming out in their masks. And then we're using and leveraging the outdoor spaces at those businesses. If anyone wants to go in afterward, they can. The other option for a ribbon cutting is our drive-by ribbon cuttings. And these, you know, I like to think of them, you guys don't know this, but most of the time, in cultures that are overseas, when people are getting married or there's a birthday or something like that, you know, they're going out in their cars, they're honking, and they're going on a train. They make this loud noise and everything, you know, and more specifically, I'm talking about Middle East and North Africa. But the point is, I have replicated that on the ribbon cutting level. And so what that looks like is people in their vehicles, they're driving by, they're honking, this huge celebration, this drawing attention. They can go inside if they wish. They can stay in their car if they're feeling unwell, if they're not feeling up for surrounding themselves with people. So we're having ribbon cuttings. Those already kicked off with the drive-bys. They also kicked off yesterday with the traditional. We have one next Tuesday, right, Brian?
I think that's right.
Next Tuesday, and this one's an exciting one. You guys saw me last week visiting with Aloft Westminster. They just opened their doors here in our community, and we're ready to go out there, see their space, experience it with them. 4:30 to 5 next Tuesday at Aloft at the Orchards. More importantly, a week from today, what do we have, Brian?
A week from today, we have our annual awards gala, which we had to postpone, unfortunately, because of COVID, but the time has come and we are doing this.
And as we're doing this, I'm unboxing this package right here because I'm so excited. You know, we have put a lot of effort into making this event come to life. And I've been asked, you know, why are we doing this? And then I've also been told, you know, thank you for doing this. A lot of our nonprofits rely on events. They rely on events as their discretionary funds that they're using, dollars that keep their organization going. Unfortunately, several of them have had to cancel the event, put it as a virtual opportunity, or postpone it. When they do that, they're losing out on the revenue, and they're not making as much as what they generally do to stay in operations. At the very same time with COVID, they're doing more with less, as everybody is. And so this is a way to show people that you can go back to doing things just a little bit differently. So our event is socially distanced. If you haven't seen that video I included about last week, I think, whenever I went into detail about what that looks like, from socially distanced tables that make up a big W in the ballroom. You're sitting facing another person, and it's amazing. I'm thrilled for this event. You have no idea. I'm not just saying that. And then, of course, to our masks that are branded with our Westminster Chamber logo, which you will get when you arrive, to hand sanitizers that we have at hand sanitizer stations, to amazing wristbands that say, you know, elbows only, still being cautious. We've got, oh, this is a fun one. This is 6 feet, no contact, no exceptions. And then we also have the green ones, which is frequent hand washing, high fives, and handshakes welcome. So none of them say hugs. Unfortunately for me, I'm a hugger, so usually I try and go to somebody. But this will help with people and their preference. So if you're not feeling like you want anybody to be close to you, you can wear the red ones. If you're feeling like you want to say hello, then you can wear these other colorful green ones.
One of those high five ones, Julia.
One of those high five ones, right?
Yep.
So all those wristbands, right, socially distant wristbands that we've got in, everybody will get to select it. We've got big signs that indicate which one is which. We also have signage telling you where you go and where you turn from, so you're not bumping into each other. And again, the tables are socially distanced. We've got Guy, he's coming, our radio show host. He's going to be kicking off the MC evening. We have a variety of our award winners. Oh, and this year, doing something different. I'm feeling loving, I tell you. Our award winners are getting to share a few words from their end, which I generally don't let them do. And so this is going to be an awesome opportunity for them to share their perspective. You know, our presenting sponsor, we have got Uplands, but we also have amazing VIP sponsors like Westminster Public Schools, Adams County government offices. We've got Luan Technologies, Zimmer Biomet. We also have, of course, Westminster Real Estate Info that's coming on with us as a sponsor as well. And then we've got our other business level sponsors that are engaging with us. So several people that will be there. 75 is the number that we're stopping at. That's 75 guests in person. So if you haven't already registered, because I get this every year, we have over 100 people that generally register for me right before the event during that week. Do not wait to do that. If you do that, you can still participate in the virtual component, just not in person. You're doing the virtual component, you have to be still dressed and ready, because we are going to be featuring select people into the room as part of the broadcast. You also have catered meal that you can pick up or ask them to deliver to you if you're in the Denver area. So you'll have that experience as well. Of course, the folks that are attending, there's cash bar, there's dinner, there's live entertainment, and then there's the love and support of the business community. And I think now more than ever, it's important for us to come together and show that we have this this support, this sense of community, that we're here, we're all in this together, we're all stronger together, but we're ready to celebrate and recognize successes and move the needle from where we are today to where we will be hopefully tomorrow, which is in a much better position. Have I left anything off, Brian?
I don't think so. The only thing I would add is those last spots are going to go fast. So don't wait. And also don't feel like, oh, well, I shouldn't take one because somebody else, you know, might want that. Get in there, get registered, grab your spot before they're gone, because there's not very many this year.
Yeah, and absolutely, you are right, Brian. We're coming close to where I have to cut off the 75. So if you haven't registered, please go ahead and hop on and register now. And then if you're registering virtually, if you do so right now, you'll get a chance to actually pick what kind of food you want and everything like that. And then if you're in the nonprofit industry, event industry, fundraising mode, whether you are running for office or have your own fundraiser going on, this is a great opportunity for you to see how a program can be a truly hybrid event. I'm not talking about the Zoom where you're dressed top up. Those are great. I'm talking about an entirely different experience where you are still ready for the program and event. You're still part of it, even though you're not physically there. And if you're physically there, you are having a darn good time. So I'm excited for it. I have included the link for our events page, more specifically the awards gala. If you've not already done so, the event link is included into the comment section of this broadcast, available to you. Again, get ready for a fun, socially distant event. Into the future, where we head, that is actually the theme for the event, Into the Future. So feel free to either dress per the theme or dress in cocktail attire, because it will be special moment. Of course, we will be taking nice photos at the event, so be sure that you're ready to capture how fabulous you looked even during COVID. We are at our 30-minute mark, which generally means that I have to close it out, unfortunately. But I want to thank John for hopping on as well at the very end of this broadcast. And for those of you that have just started tuning in with us, know that this video is available to you at any point in time to rewatch. In fact, you can rewind it as soon as we're done and replay it. And if you stumble on it later on, make sure you give us that hashtag replay so I know that you did tune in with us. Of course, I mentioned this earlier on. If you found this content to be incredibly valuable, whether it's about our awards gala, about upcoming programs, or more specifically about board and board service leadership within our organization, what that looks like, be sure to hit that share button. We want to get the word out to as many people in our networks as possible. And the best way that we can find the best people is by leveraging your network, because they're connected to you. And again, appreciate you guys for tuning in for about 30 minutes out of your morning with us. Of course, Brian, I appreciate you for all you do. I know I like to give you a lot of heck, but you put up with it, as do many of our board members. And if it wasn't for you all, we would not be here. And if it wasn't for our strong working relationship together, we wouldn't be making the change that we are in the community. So thank you so much. I look forward to touching base with everybody again on Monday when we have the mayor with us. Enjoy the weekend.